guys, welcome to another episode of Imperial Diecast. Today, I would like to present to you in the 18th scale this sublime 7 Series BMW, which is the BMW 750 Li G12 by a diecasting company known as iscale. But I'd like to begin this review by presenting the model car how it comes inside the box. So let's take a look at the box. The first thing you'll be able to notice is that this box does not have any kind of branding. So if you do not know that this model car is made by iscale, there is pretty much no way you can guess what the manufacturer is, at least from outside the box. What I like about the box though is the fact that it is so plain. This means that you can display this in pretty much any expensive location, for example in a car dealership, and it'll look professional. So you will not have the model car manufacturer's branding get in the way of just showcasing the BMW. What's also cool about this box is that the top is also see-through, as I can show you now. As you can see over here, the model is visible from 3 sides. Unfortunately, the sides are black and covered, but this still provides a good amount of visibility. Now, of course, because this model of mine is dark, it's sort of hard to see compared to the white one, but I still think it looks good. Up here you can see a little BMW logo etched into the cardboard. That kind of looks cool. So here's a look at the bottom of the box, and you can see that it is also quite plain, except for this part here. Let's begin by showing you this little reflective sticker, which shows the BMW grille. And you even have the licensed by BMW AG brand here, as well as the serial number. And over here we have simply the name of the model in different languages, saying collector's model, it's not a toy. And nowhere where it says that this is made by iscale. However, you have a link to the BMW shop, where you can also buy this model. Anyhow, let's get on with the review. Now you'll notice that this car is still on its base. And the reason why I haven't removed it is because this car is one of the heaviest diecast model cars that I have. And I just don't feel like I want to spend half an hour trying to get the screws off, because most of the time this car will be spending inside its box, and it's just a hassle to remove all 4 screws and then re-screw them back on. So I hope you guys don't mind me doing this review with the car on the base. This diecast model car is painted in a metallic color advertised by BMW as Imperial Blue. It also comes in 2 additional colors known as Mineral White and Sophisto Gray. For a while I couldn't decide between the white one and the blue one, but I ended up picking the blue one because it comes with a beige interior. And I love bright interiors in model cars because it just makes everything so visible. The problem with the white 750 Li was the fact that the interior was entirely black, so even though it had the same quality and level of detail, you just couldn't see it well enough. The diecasting company iscale is very similar in terms of quality and price point to Paragon and Kyosho, both of whom also specialize in BMW luxury sedans. The retail price of this model car lies around 100 euros, give or take, but I was lucky enough to come across this when CK Model Cars had reduced this blue one and the white one to 60 euros. For some weird reason, they had priced the dark grey one at 80 euros, although it doesn't have any additional features. Anyway, on top of that, I got a 10% discount code, which CK Model Cars offers a couple times a year if you are subscribed to their newsletter, so I only ended up paying 54 euros plus shipping for this model, and boy do you get a lot for your money. Since 1977, the BMW 7 Series has always been the Bavarian Motorwork Company's most spacious and luxurious 4-door commercial vehicle. The G11 or G12 is the 6th generation of the 7 Series and has been in production since mid-2015. In the review title, you can see that I have written G12 next to the model name. This is because G11 is the code name for the short wheelbase model, and G12, the one for the extended wheelbase, which we're also reminded of by an additional L letter. That's why it says 750Li instead of just 750i. This car is based on an Oberklasse or upper class platform, which in real life employs carbon fiber reinforced polymer for the structural chassis components, first introduced in the BMW i models like the i3 or i8. With that said, let's begin by taking a look at the front of this vehicle. The iconic BMW kidney grille is actually a closed grille on this model, and they have replicated that exactly the way it is on the real car. These are actually active airstream flaps that can open when the engine needs additional cooling and close when you want to enhance the aerodynamics of the vehicle. Now let's take a closer look at the main headlights. You can see the DRLs are done very nicely, and we have the LED turn signals on top of them. There's no pegs whatsoever, which is nice, but can also be expected of a model in this price range. On the real car, this is actually something known as a laser light adaptive lighting system, which are supposed to burn twice as bright as your standard LEDs, and on top of that, they also do not blind the oncoming traffic as much. Underneath the headlights, you can also see the parking sensors as well as the headlight washers. Below that, we have chrome garnishing. And here's already one flaw that I notice is that iScale completely forgot to model the fog lights on this vehicle. There's supposed to be a strip of LED fog lights underneath the top one of the two chrome strips, and each fog light is supposed to consist of 3 different bulbs. All of that is missing. Down here we have an EU license plate from Germany, which says MAL 1209, and you also have these emblems for the state that this is from. I think our German viewers can guess what state this is from, but this is about as sharp as I can get. By the way, I just noticed that at the front you can even see that they have the front-facing camera indicated between the two grills. And this part is actually, above that, is kept in silver. On the real car, it's not, so I guess that's just one design flaw of this car. Moving further up, we have the BMW logo right here. This is not a print or sticker, but this is actually embossed onto the hood. Now, while we're at the front, we might as well open the hood and take a look at the engine. The engine we are looking at here is a 4.4-liter, 443 horsepower twin-turbocharged V8 with an electronically limited top speed of 250 kilometers per hour and does 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.5 seconds, which is very impressive for a sedan of this size and weight. There's nothing special about this engine. I mean, it lacks the depth and it just reminds me of the one-piece Maisto engines, and therefore is nothing special. And here's a look at the car's side profile. This is one of the biggest cars that I own. If I had to describe this car in one word, it would be massive. The easiest way to detect that this is an extended wheelbase is by the width of the rear passenger doors. One of the things that you see and then cannot unsee is the fact that on the side of this car, the chrome garnishing looks like an ice hockey stick. We have LED turn signals on the wing mirrors. And iScale even managed to put a vent right here, just like on the real car. Let's take a closer look at the rims. In real life, I've seen this car with 18-inch rims, which make the wheels look small. But on this model, I believe these are 20-inch ones. You have the BMW logo in the center. The brake discs themselves don't have much detail. They seem like smooth ones to me. And there's no branding on the brake calipers. Now here's a look at the back of the car. I can already detect a little extra bit of chrome at the bottom, but this can be covered with black marker. The XDrive stands for BMW's four-wheel drive system, which is also known as an all-wheel drive. You got the BMW badge in the middle. This is an actual badge, a three-dimensional one, rather than just a sticker, just like at the front. And over here we have the 750Li branding. I love the fact that BMW made this huge chrome piece go from one end of the taillight to the other one. And here you have a closer look at the rear license plate. Taillight washers. You got your parking sensors down here. we have chrome-tipped dual exhausts that are actually, if you look closely, quad exhausts, and rear reflectors above them. One flaw that iscale made is that they actually kept the inside of these actual exhausts flat instead of, drilling holes into them. But again, this is a small flaw that I guess can be dismissed. And here's how the trunk opens. It's a little hard to open because it has a little bit of a resistance, but check it out. Here's a look at the interior of the trunk. As is customary for mid to high range models, you have felt, and this actually feels good. And there's a decent amount of space inside this trunk. Under the flash you can see the metallic blue texture. You can see all these metallic pigments, but these are largely invisible during daytime. Now let's move further up. One downside about this car is that when it is new, it comes wrapped with plastic stickers that prevent the trunk and the doors and the hood from being opened. When you remove these stickers, it actually leaves behind this residue here. Let's see if the camera can pick it up. You can see right there. I don't know exactly how you get rid of these. I've tried microfiber cloth, that doesn't really work, but these aren't that visible. I'm just nitpicking here a little bit. I might be able to get rid of them by using water, I don't know, like damp cloth or something. Anyway, let's move on to the rear windshield. Nothing much to see here. There's a little gap here, and inside you have the brake light. As you can see right there, we have the brake light. And the shark fin antenna is above it. What makes this diecast car so unique is that it's one of the few model cars out there that has not one, but two sunroofs. Through these sunroofs, you get a nice look at the interior. The sunroofs themselves unfortunately cannot be opened, but I am more than happy with just the amount of detail I put into this. Now let's take a look at the interior. The door handles are pronounced, which means you can use a door opening tool, and the doors open like this. And that's the cool thing about these sedans, is that all four doors open. But let's first take a look at the front. So here we are at the front passenger side of the interior. We have wood veneer paneling, and you can already see the big head-up display on the dashboard. This display on the real car is touch sensitive. Beneath that you can see the vents with the knob in the middle so that you can turn them left or right. Beneath that, the stereo and all the buttons. And what you're looking at here is an 8-speed automatic transmission with cup holders in front. Up top we have controls for the cabin lights as well as the moonroof. You gotta love the beige seats, and in between them there's also a storage compartment. And now let's move on to the driver's side. Let's first take a look at the doors here. As you can see, they have the wood veneer paneling, some buttons, and a little extra space for storage. BMW dorsal branding, and you got your seat controls over here. Left of the 3-spoke steering wheel you can see the headlight control system. Right behind the steering wheel you have your windscreen wiper controls. The instrument panel is just a sticker, but keep in mind that on the real car there is no real depth to the instrument panel either, because it's just an LCD screen. And of course the steering corresponds to the front wheel swiveling from side to side. Now let's take a look at the back. An extended wheelbase means that there's plenty of legroom for the rear passengers. And of course everything is carpeted. we have here a good look at the seat belts, which are made out of fabric. And the photo-etched seatbelt buckles also look nice. The coolest feature about the back are these TV screens. The center console is at the back with the rear climate control. Another thing that iscale forgot to model are giant reading lights that are supposed to be situated right over here, in this area. And over here as well, but you don't have them here. Here we have a look at the two sunroofs from the bottom. BMW likes to refer to this as the Sky Lounge. They even have ambient lighting for it on the real car. And on top of that we have the rear vanity mirrors. And here's a look at the seats once again. So while the iscale BMW 750 Li G12 is not as highly detailed as Kyosho's last-gen 750 Li F02, because this one is missing fog lights and the exhaust tips are flat, in all other aspects it is just as good, and for around 60 euros my verdict is that it is an absolute steal. I wouldn't pay 100 or more for it though, because for that price I might as well get a Kyosho. That being said, I definitely think this diecast car gives you more bang for your buck than the very similarly priced last-gen BMW 5 Series by Paragon. If you like this review, make sure you've subscribed to this channel so you'll be notified whenever I upload another review. Until then, have a good one.
Make the ground shake.